record the meet. Yeah.
And one more thing, I'll put out the topic in the chat box. Kash, please help keeping the time. No, otherwise I'll keep the time. No worries. Just hold on. Is everyone clear with the instructions? And make sure that while you're participating, your mics are not turned off. Otherwise, you will lose 30 seconds. The topic for you is you get 2 minutes to think, 1 minute to think about the topic.
Okay.
Your time starts now.
Sorry, I can't see the topic.
Is anyone else facing the same problem? Is anyone else facing the same problem?
No,
Please
sir.
unmute.
No.
Who was that?
Shaurya.
Shaurya, can you check? Do you not see the chat? The topic
Yeah,
has.
I've seen the chat. I can't. Acha. Okay. I've seen that.
I'm just giving 20 seconds extra. Okay, time is up. Vaibhav.
Yeah, hello everyone. So, my name is Vaibhav Arora. So, for today's topic is capitalism and socialism. So, I feel that socialism, if we talk about, so since independence, we had replicated USSR's socialism criteria. So I feel that this is one of the fertile grounds for tyranny, because if you see the North Korea and Russia and China.
Stop.
Sure.
Shreya.
Hello, everyone. So I believe capitalism and socialism are not very way forward for India, since we are watching that there's development, either be it healthcare, either be it agriculture, either be it corporate world. We are watching development. However, it is slow, but we are watching it. So we cannot say that it's far away for India. So that's it for the introduction.
Revati.
Hello, everyone. So I think capitalism might help for India for better innovation and economic growth in a faster rate, because I think we are lacking in technology a lot, and other countries like USA, China are leading faster than any one of us. So there is a quote that if we lack, then we will not achieve those things far.
Avinash.
Hi everyone. I believe capitalism and socialism both to be balanced together. For a country like India having a per capita income of around $2,500, because of course capitalism means investing more on infrastructure provides more jobs, so that it will make people to increase the per capita income of their own family. At the same time, there are also certain section of people where they
Stop.
cannot afford for basic things.
Stop.
Yeah.
Mayank.
Yeah, so what I feel that moving forward, the blend of socialism and capitalism is the way we look forward for the development in India. It might be named as the mixed economy because the government is doing all the appropriate steps to increase the economic growth, but it should be a balanced approach towards maintaining the same growth with the people below poverty line. Also, the innovations and the economic growth uh, that we are targeting uh, will need
Stop.
a.
Priyanshi.
Thank you, panelists, for giving me this opportunity. As today's topic is capitalism and socialism, I believe that the hybrid model would be a very good approach for India. As we can see, the capitalism can give leverage to the private organizations, which can, promote innovation, while the socialism and capitalism together can give a fertile ground for the private public sectors, which there would be opportunity for the private
Stop.
as well as government can look for the
Stop.
people.
Stop. Shaurya.
Yeah, I believe that a blend should be considered with capitalism and socialism both to be taken into consideration, because while capitalism can be helpful for the big organizations who are into manufacturing and large plants and all, but we have to take into account the population which is below the poverty line. And since there is a lot of unfair distribution of income in India, we need to take care of these people because they can't afford.
Stop. Is Shubham Nayak here? Is Shubham Nayak there in the session? Cool. We proceed to an open floor discussion now. Your time starts now. We
Okay, so
proceed.
what according to me was the way forward in India for the development is the blend of capitalism and socialism. But I would like to put down the pros of capitalism and the cons of capitalism, because if we are looking forward in the perspective of economic growth, then we need to work on the capitalism part of the topic. That's what I feel. But at the same time, addressing the inequality perspective of that thing is more important when addressing the issue of poverty or the imbalances in the taxation systems, because we can see the rich is getting rich and the poor is getting poor. That might be the proverbs that are being used nowadays. So that should be the point I like to put it forward. So yes.
Yeah, I like to add to this that, like mentioned by Mayank, we need to consider that there is a very unfair distribution of income, which because of which we cannot say that only capitalism can survive in India. Because if we only depend on capitalism, the people who are very below the poverty line, they won't be able to survive because they are only looking at things from a capitalist approach, and they would not be able to survive the capitalism era. So I think we need to take into account the socialism aspect as well, and we have to give benefits and tax rebates to people who are below poverty line, because we cannot consider everyone to be on the same line here. So I believe
Yeah, I
that.
would like to tell one real life example how capitalism and socialism works together. So there was one of my friend who comes from a very poor rural background. So in the state of Tamil Nadu, I mean, 5 to 6 years ago, there was a scheme launched for free laptops for the poor people from rural areas. Through that, he was able to get that laptop, and in which he was able to upskill for what are the jobs he wants to go in the future. So while he was studying in the college, he made use of the free scheme. He used well use of the laptop. He upskilled himself, and now where capitalism comes into support is just because of the good infrastructure we have been investing over there. So he was able to get a well-paying IT job. So as you can see that initially socialism supported him to reach to that stage, so that the capitalism providing good infrastructure and job both together providing a gateway to uplift this. This is how a country goes and the family goes.
Adding to
Yeah,
this,
okay,
yeah, adding to
yes.
this, I can say that India has a lot of scope while looking at the demographic also location and the scope of the market. If we look into the capitalism, we can have a lot of foreign investors, and we can have a many in manufacturing companies establishing in India. And while if we approach towards the hybrid model, we can say the government can regulate the policies so that the underprivileged or the under deserved community can get opportunities. I think the hybrid model would be a better way for India to move forward.
I believe that though there is socialist policies that are there, which are relevant, like prevalent in India since its independence, so I believe that there is a high, there should be more focus on capitalism, because if we see that the recent economic survey that we have received, in which it said that India's government should open more for private players, especially in the space, tech, and manufacturing sectors. So, way forward, if we want to become a developed country, we should focus on capitalism more, with the blend of socialism, of course.
So I think I agree with the blend of socialism and capitalism, because I think United States and German, France, all are there are mixed of some capital and private owned companies and some social welfare for the public. So I think mix of both can be better for India, so that we can go ahead for economic growth as well as balance between social life.
Yes, I believe that until our country reaches a per capita income between $10,000 to $15,000, we should have a mix of both. Because in the uh, thinking of capitalism, spending time more on infrastructure rather than neglecting socialism, so that will be very tough for one section of society who are in below the lower middle class people as well as the people who are in poverty. So till that time we reached per capita income of $10,000 to $15,000, which is being projected to be reached around by 2047. I believe both should work together. After that, then you can focus more on capitalism than socialism.
Yeah, but
I
So
agree.
yes, I
what I
totally
mean to say was like it should be within the economic investments and the growth or whatever the investments are there. It should be within the nation. Like there was one point put down by Priyanshi about the global investments that should happen. But what I feel with respect to the global investment, considering the capitalism, it might give that instability and volatility in the market, because there might be other forces who won't be happy with the this blend that we are discussing. Also, I feel the government intervention in all the schemes, like there was the scheme given by Avinash about the distribution of laptops and all. So the government intervention plays a very important role in all those investment that should happen, which will shape this blend of capitalism and socialism.
I also
I
believe that
partly agree with Mayank. So, if you see historically, if you see historically socialism from North Korea and USSR point of view, so we all know that North Korea and mainly USSR has broke due to some kind of dictatorship wherein socialism was very much prevalent. But if you see on the other hand, like US, which is a live example of capitalism, so I believe that socialism, though, should be there, but capitalism should be more if we want to be a developed economy.
I
So
Yeah,
think
I would
also
like
hybrid.
one thing to the
to
US point that Vaibhav mentioned, that only capitalism I don't feel will be a good thing to look up upon, because recently Donald Trump, who is like the Trump means who has been elected as the president of America, he has shifted back to the plastic straws. Okay, so he feels that okay, these are not the paper straws are not the good substitute for plastic, and it is affecting the businesses, and it is also affecting the end product reaching to the retailer. But there have been this conflicts about using of plastic and all, but the this move, what I feel, is more towards the capitalism, not towards the social or the fruitful part towards the population.
I
So I
believe
would
that
like
hybrid
to
model
agree.
is important because it will also lead to decentralization of a in the society. The government can also interfere and make new policies, and there won't be any monopoly of a particular private sector in the society, and which will lead to the advantage of the all type of classes, and especially with the one who are still struggling income wise. So I guess the hybrid model would be a better approach in this scenario.
Yes, I would like to agree with both Mayank and Priyanka because there should always be a balance. Let's take another example for Kerala. So Kerala is a state where communism is influenced a lot because I see communism and socialism. There is no much of a difference. Just because there is a communism presence over there, you can see more number of welfare schemes over there, but there is no actual proper investments over there. That's why you see many Malayalis they go for jobs to Gulf or when it comes to any kind of white collar jobs in India, they go to cities like Bangalore, Chennai, Mumbai, Hyderabad, like that. Because the capitalism is less, socialism is high. Whereas you take the nearby states like Tamil Nadu, my state, Karnataka, there is a proper balance between these two. That's why you don't see much of a migration of people outside of state because we have enough number of job opportunities over here. So they wish to be within the state because there is a balance of both. So I always believe either you should not have too much of socialism or less capitalism and high of capitalism and less socialism.
So yes, I totally agree that we should not incline towards either socialism or capitalism. We should have hybrid model. As Priyanshi said, we should avoid monopoly. So as we know, socialism is for general welfare of public and capitalism is as well important for profitable of our country. So we need a hybrid model in order to avoid monopoly and have a blend of all these things. So that will be equally important as
So
per
I
And
me.
believe
and
that
I
if we take
also
into consideration the fact that what will happen if we have more capitalism and less socialism,
Stop.
I believe that people.
You have
so
one.
I think
Stop. Stop. You have 1 final minute for the entire group to conclude. Your time starts now.
I think where the socialism brings the welfare programs or strengthening the healthcare sector and bringing the equality, capitalism also brings down the innovation part and it helps to improve the economy of a particular country. So we should have a blend or hybrid model when we look for the India's growth. Uh, Anybody else want to add a point to it?
so I
So I
think
think we can all conclude that we need a blend between hybrid model between capitalism and socialism because one thing cannot survive without the other. We need to take into consideration that if there is only capitalism, the other people will the people below the poverty line will be affected. And if we are not only focusing on socialism, then the country as a whole will not be able to, increase their GDP and their economy as a whole.
Yeah, also this approach of the mixed blend will also harness.
Stop. Your time is up. Hi. Hi there.
Yeah.
So I have a general feedback for all of you. But first of all, how do you think the quality of discussion was? All of you can unmute yourself.
I feel that we were repeating points a lot, I think, maybe.
Correct.
And the points got exhausted very quickly.
Correct.
Yes, I guess only one
Yes.
point we were saying the same point but using the different words.
Only
हाइब्रिड होना चाहिए
हाइब्रिड
हाइब्रिड
होना
होना चाहिए
चाहिए,
बैलेंस होना चाहिए सस्टेनेबल ग्रोथ होना चाहिए कोई
इक्वल
भी एक
इनकम नहीं है
ठीक
और
है
सब में वही वही डिस्ट्रीब्यूट होना चाहिए.
I'll tell you what you could have even taken a particular side and then also you could have debated. I'll tell you US is a perfect example of crony capitalism
हाँ,
and
ठीक.
China is a perfect example of socialism. And by the way, who was that speaking on behalf of Kerala? Is he there? Avinash.
Avinash.
That's
So he was
myself.
telling, so communism and socialism are two different things. Broader terms में you would think, see, if you
No,
are
no,
a
actually, I
layman,
told the capitalism and socialism
listen,
are
listen. I allowed you 10 minutes to speak. Now it's my turn. I'm telling, all I'm telling is communism and socialism are two different point of views. Communism is somewhere wherein the government has distributed the resources equally among people. Socialism is somewhere where the government owns all the resources and then allocates. How many of you know that famous cow meme? A cow is compared to all fascism. What is fascism? What is bureaucracy? So, what is bureaucracy? The government is two cows. What is fascism? The government is two cows. It decides to shoot both the cows and asks you for milk. What is capitalism? You have two cows. Your neighbor has four cows, but both of you don't sell milk in India or maybe in the country that you. What is socialism? You have four cows. The government takes all the four cows and distributes the milk among the poor. It's a very good analogy on understanding these things. Read about the cow example. So China as a country has developed very good with socialism, and US as a country has developed very good with capitalism. Probably that is the point of view that I was expecting from you, not a balanced point of view. Everybody can be say place favorites, everybody can have a safe point of view. But then what is the fun in the discussion? Somebody should step up and just to be visible in the eyes of the panel, play the devil's advocate, disagree to the popular view, but have a strong backing. Don't make a fool out of yourself in the process. Yeah, over to you, Akash.
Yeah. So guys, I'll take 10 minutes of yours. In that, I'll tell you frameworks, then the whole scenario, what kind of point that you should put into the discussion. Post that, I'll talk about your entry, right?
Akash, just 1 second. I'll just give my feedback first, then you can tell them about in general, because I think this is very fresh. I need to tell them about the things that they need to talk about. This is very fresh, that's why. Okay.
Okay.
Guys, yeah. So I want to ask you guys one thing. What is the relation between innovation and socialism? I never understood this. Why are you guys again and again pulling in innovation and socialism? I am very disappointed about this. Do you guys know that the space race of between USA and USSR, who won the space race? Can you tell me? If you say USA, I'm gonna be very pissed at you guys. Okay. It wasn't the USA. USSR was leagues ahead of USA throughout the space race. It was at the very end when USA made it a national issue. It was at the very end when USA was so desperate that they put a man on the moon. Until then, the space race was who gets to space first. Newsflash, it was USSR. There is no relation between innovation and socialism. That is a point of propaganda that is being pushed down our throats. I thought you guys have more than just listening to propaganda, and I thought you guys think about all of this thing. I think all of you as a group should reflect more on your critical thinking. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry about this, but I mean, I tried to understand. Nobody corrected Weber when he said when he talked about socialism and how socialism leads to dictatorship and everything, bro. Like, do you understand x-axis and y-axis? Do you know the political spectrum chart? No relation, no freaking relation between socialism, capitalism, and authoritarianism and libertarianism. These are completely different axes. You are comparing apples and oranges here. Okay, there are n number of examples where heavily socialist countries are very, very successful. There is a reason why USA went across the globe to attack Vietnam during their foundational years. They had no reason to attack Vietnam. The only reason was if Vietnam went totally socialist or capitalist, it would form a very strong bloc that USA will never be able to overcome. That was they wanted to sabotage the entire Southeast. Do you guys not think about this? All of the Scandinavian states, best examples of socialism. The European Union, best example of socialism. Why are all of the countries in European Union? Why do they have very high rating in terms of happiness index? Development, the kind of work-life balance. Is it better in the USA or in the European Union? It's much better in the European Union. Okay, you can literally sue your boss if he calls you after hours in the European Union. Okay, I'm very disappointed, to be honest. Okay, nobody brought in whoever is was trying to push for capitalism. Nobody brought in the trickle down thing. Okay, nobody talked when someone said that socialism is better for poor. You should have someone should have taken a stand that in capitalism we have something called as trickle down factor where the benefits given to the top, they slowly and steadily trickle down to the bottom. Even if this is not a good point to talk about, but that should have been a justification against justification for why capitalism also favors the poor. Okay, and then someone could have come in to say how trickle down is just a hoax. It does not really exist, and it is the worst form that you could ever take care of the poor. Worse. Why? Tell me something. Why are southern states are much better in terms of all of these indices? Or just tell me, have you guys ever gone and experienced the daily life of southern states? One thing that you will definitely observe as compared to Maharashtra or northern states is the poverty is very, very less. You will not find a lot of homeless people in the southern states. Why is that so? They are heavily socialist. They have a lot of socialist policies, and that is not stifling innovation in any way. Okay, tell me which are the best cars right now. Which region in the world is at the forefront of innovation in cars? German cars we talk about, right? Forefront of innovation, luxury cars, all of that, forefront of innovation. They have very robust socialist policies, right? All of these things you should have both the sides, the left and the right, they both use extreme examples of why capitalism is wrong, why socialism is wrong. You guys need to think more rationally. You guys need to highlight why something is wrong, why something is right. Okay, USA is the best example of why capitalism, when not in check, that it can literally ruin the entire life of most of the country. I think someone said that socialism, we need socialism for taking care of the poor, and we cannot let it be entirely socialist because the entire country will suffer. Bro, look at what capitalism is doing in most of the completely capitalist states like USA. Nobody highlighted uh, the electoral bond scam. That is the best example of crony capitalism. Guys, what? Why are you just going on with the group? No,
नहीं, I
you
would
that
say क्या हो यहाँ हुआ क्या ना, probably everybody was trying to be politically correct यहाँ,
हाँ
and
don't
सबको सबसे agree करना है, तो फिर
हाँ
तो ग्रुप डिस्कशन, फिश मार्केट हुआ नहीं तो ग्रुप डिस्कशन का मजा ही नहीं आया.
नहीं आता है भाई. And all, let me tell you something. If all of you guys try to be like हाँ चलो चलो सब किसी को एक दूसरे को ऑफेंड नहीं करेंगे, everyone will try to get to a common consensus, एकदम स्टार्टिंग से ऐसा करोगे ना, सबके मार्क्स जाएंगे भाई, सबके मार्क्स जाएंगे.
देखो
They don't
डिफरेंशिएट
have
कौन होगा,
हाँ
कौन कौन निखर के बाहर आएगा, who will stand out there.
exactly. It's not like they don't have to select at least 3 people from every GD. No, they can select 0. They can give all of you 0 marks in GD. Okay, don't. And ये होगा, ये होता है, ये मैंने खुद से देखा है. I
Two
have overseen.
situations where the entire panel is flushed down the drain. First situation, it's a complete havoc. Nobody is allowing the other person to speak. Second situation, when the discussion is not adding much value. You did not cover the aspect, cover the topic holistically. You don't cover it 24, I mean, from all the aspects, then also it is flushed.
Try to, especially like I was so hopeful for this topic when Abhinav was like, let's take this topic. I was so excited. I was so excited to see, a really nice debate about, this was such an open-ended topic, guys. You could have talked about so many things, so many examples. Okay. ऑन एग्जाम्पल्स के तौर पे तुमने बस एक दो कंट्रीज का नाम लिया जो सबसे घिसे पीटे एग्जाम्पल है, और उसी के बारे में सब वही रुमिनेट करते रहे. यार ऐसा मत करो प्लीज प्लीज, आई रियली बेग ऑफ यू, डोंट डू दिस इन एन एक्चुअल जीडी. ओके, जब इतना इतना ऑब्वियस जब टॉपिक मिलता है ना, तो ट्राई टू बी बेटर, ट्राई टू फॉर्म वॉट एवर. कितने सारे आर्ग्यूमेंट्स है यार, कितने सारे आर्ग्यूमेंट्स फॉर बोथ साइड्स. एंड I understand the solution is definitely a blend of capitalism and socialism. Okay, but वो कंक्लूजन का जो पार्ट है ना, वो तुमने जीडी के मिडल से ही तुम कंक्लूजन लेके आ रहे हो कि हाँ हाँ दोनों चाहिए, दोनों चाहिए, दोनों चाहिए. आई एक्सपेक्टेड वन ऑफ यू टू एटलीस्ट से कि गाइज आई थिंक वी शुड नॉट come to a conclusion so soon. I think we still have a lot of things left to discuss.
कितने लोगों के पास एक स्मार्ट वॉच है पहले ये बताओ. हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू आर वेयरिंग अ स्मार्ट वॉच? जल्दी बताओ, अनम्यूट करके बताओ जल्दी. किसके किसके पास अभी हैंड पे स्मार्ट वॉच है? नोबडी. एवरीबडी इज अ हार्ड वर्कर, नोबडी इज अ स्मार्ट वर्कर. स्मार्ट वॉच रहता है तो एटलीस्ट यू हैव अ ट्रैक ऑफ टाइम कि कितना टाइम बचा है. व्हाई आई एम सेइंग nobody tried to moderate the GD and nobody tried to give any structure. मतलब इट इज लाइक अगर यहाँ चल रहा है, हाँ चल 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 चल, उधर जा रहा है, हाँ चल 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 चल. तो अगर भीड़ में जाना है तो फिर सिलेक्शन कैसे होगा? If you're a part of the rat race, no matter if you win or lose, ultimately you are a rat. So don't be a part of rat race. Stand out.
Yeah. So, guys, I'll tell you, I'll take max 5 to 10 minutes for yours. See, first of all, in the introduction of capitalism, you could have talked about, what is capitalism? Tell about the definition of capitalism, then socialism, then talk about India's economy, how India's economy works, right? It's kind of capitalism, socialism, which is mixed economy, right? Then you could have launched the topic, which is capitalism. In that, you could have talked about some points, which is, I'll tell you 2, 3 points. Economic growth, right? What happens in economic growth? Someone has taken point of innovation, but no one has given a cutthroat idea of how innovation works, right? No one has talked about entrepreneurship. No one has talked about how wealth can be created. Someone has taken an example of Trump, but you could have given a live example how he has created that wealth, right? Then we could have given an example of foreign investment, like how foreign investment plays a very important role, and how global businesses attract this investment when it comes to capitalism, right? Then you could have talked about job creation. In capitalism, private sector generates a lot of employment, right? It reduces dependence on the autocracy or government. You could have talked about it. Then you could have talked about efficiency, like how a market, the competition that is present in the market leads to creating new products and new services, right? Then you can talk about, now we are done with the positives of it. We'll talk about the challenges, like income equality. We are seeing in India, top 1% of India is getting richer and poorer are become poorer, right? So you could have talked about it. Then you could have talked about the environmental damage, right? Then you could have talked about the uh, benefits of socialism, right? What are the benefits of socialism? Poverty reduced hota hai. There's a inclusive growth, right? And there's a welfare and social security comes into the picture. If you look at healthcare, if you look at education, if you look at subsidies for the poor, all these pictures come into the socialism, right? Now I'll go into the challenges of socialism. One of the biggest challenge which comes to the socialism is lack of innovation, right? Due to not having innovation, industries are becoming stagnant, right? You could have talked about bureaucratic efficiency. When there's a lot of government control comes into the picture, there's a slow down in the economic progress. Then you could have talked about the main approach now, which is balance approach, right? I directly come onto your discussion. Why, Shreya, you started secondly. You talked about socialism, but in your discussion, you should have blend of what is capitalism, what is socialism. Then you should have talked about the further points. Understand the topic very well, and then talk about the topic. Revati, at the starting of the topic, you fumbled, first of all, right? And then you directly come into the innovation part, USA, China, like you talked about examples, you talked about the subparts, but you're not understood the topic very well, first of all, right? Then Abhinav was one of the best entry. He talked about capitalism, he talked about
Brother,
socialism, yes.
I,
Then he has given example of both of it.
अरे
Yeah,
किसका फीडबैक दे रहे हैं?
I think अविनाश का फीडबैक दे रहे हो.
yeah. Avinash, are you there?
अभिनव
हाँ
बोल
हाँ,
रहे हैं.
अरे आपने
Avinash,
अभिनव
yeah,
बोला इसलिए
yeah,
कोई बात नहीं, कोई बात नहीं.
yeah. Then Mayank came into the picture. What Mayank did, Mayank just copied Abhinav. Avinash told that blend of capitalism plus socialism. He also followed the same. Then he added one point, which is mixed economy, right? Then there was not too much discussion into the whole topic in terms of starting, right? Then Priyanshi entered into the discussion. She greeted very well, guys. Try to greet the start the discussion with greeting. Then she talked about hybrid model, and then she has taken her point regarding socialism, right? So, in terms of entries, the first entry, Abhinav and Priyanshi, to you. Now, I talk about one is talking about the conclusion. Guys, why you are giving a chance to other person? Priyanshi started the discussion and she concluded and she talked about hybrid model. No, there was no discussion in that hybrid model. Then Shaurya followed that discussion and he talked about capitalism. Then another guy entered and he talked about poverty. So there was nothing concluded during this discussion. Whenever you are concluding any discussion, understand all points of both parties, right? And then put your point of view, like on behalf of group, we think this come into the picture, right? Over to you, Yash.
Okay, that was very valuable feedback, I would say, especially like in terms of personal feedback. I don't have a lot of feedback left. I'll just say, okay, so main thing is, one thing that you need to understand, the reason there are three mentors looking at barely six of you, it's to get three different perspectives on each one of you. Okay, and I would like to clarify what Akash said is basically this feedback is about what are the main points that you observed. Okay, so I'll start with Mayank. Mayank, yes, in some points you agreed with Avinash and you wanted to explain that more, but whatever you said, it didn't have a lot of different content than what Avinash said. That is why uh, Akash feels that you copied him. Uh, but looking at the rest of the GD, I actually thought that you brought in a few original points too. So please take care of when you are agreeing with someone, you need to also come up with more points. Okay, talk about a few different things. You can start with agreeing with someone, but then you should take it towards different points than what he spoke about. Okay, so yeah, apart from that, all of this is one more common feedback for all of you is that you guys need to understand the difference between left, right, and authoritarian and libertarian. Okay, there are loads of examples where left regimes have gone to authoritarianism and right regimes that have also gone to authoritarianism. The best example is Hitler's Nazi party. Can you tell me Hitler and Nazi Germany, was that right wing or was that left wing?
Right wing.
Good. But his party was called as National Socialist Party. So isn't socialism left wing? Can you tell me what was the thing here? So let me tell you, the name National Socialist, it was a way for Hitler to gain support from the worker class and the labor class, whoever was supporting socialist policies, Marxist policies, he wanted to gain support from them. But in no way was the entire party's doings or whatever they did in terms of, I'm talking about economics. Okay. In no way was that in any was left wing. No, not at all. Okay. He named the party National Socialist to attract socialist reforms or reforms, not supporters of socialist reforms. Okay, but Hitler was very right wing. You should read about what happened in detail during Nazi, especially about companies. Okay, what kind of benefits in order to give benefits to the industrialist, what kind of things he did. Okay, I mean, this is not just about the genocide part. That was a different thing. That was done okay, it wasn't okay. A lot of people say that he in his personal life when he was younger, some Jews, there were some people who happened to be Jews who tortured him or who didn't do him good, right? Uh, do you can you tell me, like, who of you still hold a grudge about something that happened to you, like maybe 15 years ago, or let's say when you become 40, 45 years old, will you still hold a grudge against someone for they did like 20 years ago, 25 years ago? No. Hitler, he became the chancellor and he became the dictator of Germany. Do you think he would have gotten there when if he would have done this childish stuff? So it has been stated in a uh, very wrong way. Okay. I will tell you why it happened. Okay. Just quick 2 minutes about this. Why he did this, why he persecuted Jews. Okay. The real reason for that was he wanted to find a common enemy. In the if you observe one thing about dictators, how they rise to power is they try to delude the entire country. They have a lot of propaganda. They make use of a lot of propaganda. If you read Mein Kampf, one of the things that he has written is it is very easy to gain mass support if you incite them on the basis of violence, on the basis of hatred. If you do that, that is the easiest way to gather a mob to support you. The main reason why he why he did what he did was it didn't start with directly sending them to gas chambers, did it? No, it started way earlier. It started when he started talking about national pride, how he wanted to restore Hitler to its earlier days. Okay, that is how he started. Then slowly and steadily he started declaring a national enemy. He started blaming Jews for everything. Then he passed laws that you cannot buy anything from Jews. Then he passed laws that you cannot marry Jews. Right? This is how it went even worse. Okay, this is how it went worse and worse and worse and worse. And then one fine day, and there is a reason why none of the majority, so Jews were a minority, they were getting persecuted, right? Why did the entire majority did not protest here? Why did they not? Were they afraid of one person, Hitler? No, he had popular vote. Why did no one oppose this? Because they all believed in his lie. They all believed that yes, the state's enemy is Judaism or Jews, people belonging to the Jews, Jew people are the enemy of the state. They are pulling the country down. We want to go back to our former glory. The Aryan race is the purest race. These are the lies that were told to all of these people. And that is why all of them chose to support Hitler. That is why there were very less people who tried to help Jews. There were some people who tried to help Jews, but there was a reason why they did not want to risk it. Because if you are found helping Jews, if you are found trying to help Jews, your entire family could face the wrath for it. Okay, so you understand. I'm trying to give you this example to show you why it is wrong to think that socialism will lead to what you can to dictatorship. These are two very different things. Okay, so just Google the political or what the spectrum. Okay, economic policies are on the x-axis. Okay,